This is One-on-One. We are pleased to welcome Ms. Anne Huntington, Vice President of Business Development for Huntington Learning Centers. Is it center or center?
Center.
But you have many centers, plural.
We do.
How many?
300 across the country.
Started in 1977 by your parents.
Yes, Ray and Eileen Huntington.
Why did they do it?
They saw a need. So my mother was a tenured teacher right near here in New Jersey, and she saw that students were missing skills. And my father, who has his PhD in statistics, so he saw the business angle of it.
Right.
And they started with one center in northern New Jersey. And
Up
now,
in Oradell, you said?
In Oradell, New Jersey, and now we have 300 across the country.
Did it grow very quickly? By the way, one of our children, my older son, went there for a couple of years. You have a location that happens to be in Verona, New Jersey,
Yes.
close to where we live, so I know it well. Did it grow immediately?
No, it grew. The reason why we're here today is because we focus on our mission, which is to give every student the best education possible. In order to do that, we have to focus on every single student. So we understand scale. We have 300 locations, but every location is successful because it focuses on that student. So it's steady growth.
To break this down a little bit, because I remember what our son was learning at the time. It was mostly around math, but there's a lot of focus around quote-unquote standardized testing, right? That includes, well, there's the SAT, ACT, et cetera, high school entrance exams, different tests. Is much of the focus around preparing for tests?
So we need our students to succeed in school, but there might be a gap that's missing. So to prepare for tomorrow's test, we're not going to get to the root of it in 24 hours. So that's where Huntington comes in, because we're really good at what we do. We focus on the weaknesses of where the student's at academically, and we build up those skills. And by building up those skills, we build up the confidence and the motivation for that student to succeed on that standardized test.
Stay on the whole question of confidence. I'm fascinated by this. And a teenager, who doesn't see him or herself as smart, keeps repeating that. I'm not smart, I'm not smart. And there are countless parents watching right now know what I'm talking about. What is it that the organization does for them, the centers do for them, to help that kid see that he or she is capable of more than what he or she believes or articulates? I know it's a complicated question, that he or she says they believe about themselves.
Right.
Sounds pretty deep, no?
Yes, Steve, it is deep, but we're able to crack that because...
What do you mean crack it?
Well, to change a student from not making eye contact, not having good self-esteem, having low self-esteem, and we change that to eye contact and confidence. And how we do that is we build up that student's skills, which then helps the confidence and the motivation. How we do it, our approach is diagnostic and prescriptive. So you may remember with your child,
right.
Your child came in for a test.
That's right.
That test is an academic evaluation. It's a battery of tests, and it can pinpoint exactly where the student is functioning academically, and then we build a program for the student. So
customized?
It's all customized for every student. So we can build up that confidence because we can go at the student's speed.
Got it.
We can build up, and then we can go big steps and then little steps.
What's it called? Compensatory Education Services. It sounds pretty jargony. What is it?
So within Huntington, we can help general education and special education students. One program that I rolled out is for compensatory education.
What does that mean, compensatory?
It is, compensatory education is a fancy word or fancy phrase for tutoring services.
Got it.
That every student in the United States is entitled to under federal law.
Is that right?
Yes.
Based on the law?
Yes, if a student is not receiving the services in school, the student can go to a provider and receive those students. Those services, yes.
And they report it, they tell whom in order to, I'm not sure how that works. I mean.
Right, so Huntington, as you know, Steve, we've been around 41 years. We value the Huntington homeschool connection. So we'll go to the school on behalf of the student to see how the student is performing in the school. So we will partner with the schools to make sure that the students are getting the services.
Schools don't resist?
You know, we all have a common goal, and the common goal is our mission, which is to give every student the best education possible. We focus on that student, and that's why we get the results we get. I mean, we get, on average, in 30 hours, 1.2 grade levels of growth in reading and 1 grade level of growth in math. And then on that test prep side, ACT, 5.2 points in that same amount of time, and 238 points in the same amount of time.
Before I let you out of here, you're big into the arts.
Yes.
Talk about it.
The arts are a passion of mine, as is education, and I love it. I love education, I love art.
What's the connection, education and the arts, in your mind?
They're not married in terms of Huntington. Huntington, we're around 40 plus years later because we focus on the results and on those individualized programs. My passion also is art, and that's growing and conceiving and making ideas into reality, which I get to do every day at Huntington by growing programs and helping students and impacting the future.
Final question. How rewarding is it for you personally to see these students grow and reach their potential?
Beyond, because we will change that student who doesn't make eye contact to then going into the center director's office and being best friends with that center director, because he or she sees the results and can see that the potential can become a reality. And that's what I get to do.
I mean, that kid, that boy or girl, takes, I don't even want to just say skills. I got a few seconds here. It's not, those aren't just skills. They take that sense of self for the rest of their lives.
Yes, yes. And we can quantify it, too, with our results.
Listen, I want to thank you for joining us. Anne Huntington, Vice President of Business Development for Huntington Learning Center, established in 1977 as we're doing this program, 41 years later. I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve.
Well done.
Thanks.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Seton Hall University, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., Hackensack Meridian Health, Wells Fargo, MD Advantage, and by Choose New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.